Hey guys, how's it going? I see Low Life Max Camber and I see the Ford Galaxy here. How are you guys doing today? I'm gonna wait a little bit for some more people to join, so we have a bit of an audience for the race when it starts. Oh yeah, um, yeah. That catching a rat is indeed quite difficult. Thankfully, we have a cat in our house, so it does the job for us. You drew a Vauxhall Corso, okay. I'm gonna close a few background apps now, so I don't kill my CPU. Hey Opel Safira, how's it going? Hey Gerbil Derp, how are you doing? I'm gonna start BeamNG now. It's gonna take a second. Okay, you should see it by now. And so, with this being the first race, oh, by the way, give me a second. With this being the first race, this will be on the automation outside loop, of course, and it will. Yeah, we have 13 participants this time, so it's gonna be pretty exciting. I can tell you that much. Okay, but the first race, again, as I said, is going to be on the automation outside loop, and the first car that's going to be doing it is one of my cars that I built. Um, don't be fooled by this car's appearance, and I'll tell you why in just a second. Because this is not a Mini. Okay. So, as you can hear, this has a Boxer 4 engine, and by the way, this car has the sort of body that you would use for a Mini, but obviously, besides the massive rear wing, of course, but it is rear-engined, rear-wheel drive, and it's got a 1.5 liter Boxer 4 engine and 112 horsepower. Now, 112 horsepower isn't a lot, you might say, but this car only weighs 582 kilograms, and in a car this light, 112 horsepower is enough. Oh yeah, I can showcase every car like that just before we start. As you can see, this goes like stink compared to the 1957 cars. but we do have pretty powerful cars lined up here. Hey LadaFan01, how's it going? In case you, again, for those of you who just joined, this car is outside of the competition. It is my own car. Yeah, this is really kind of flying here. When I told you this car makes 112 horsepower, you probably thought it was slow. Still think it's slow? Well, now I jinxed myself, but... That was, yeah, that was right on cue, wasn't it? So as far as the score system goes, it's still the top 10 people are gonna get points. Everyone outside the top 10 is not gonna get points. Depending on how many... Whoa. If the trend continues and I get more entries with every season, so if the next season gets more entries than this one, then I might have to think of a new score system, but with 13 cars I think it's fair enough to have 3 that don't get any points. This thing is just so freaking agile, as it would be with only 582 kilograms, of course, but then you need to consider that the front tires I think are only 155, so think I lightly damaged the left front suspension. The car is slightly pulling to the left, but we're almost at the finish line, so it should not matter that much anymore. And remember, we had a pretty big mistake there, almost spun it, but this was still a 532. And how does that stack up? Yeah, 14 seconds faster than the winner from the 57 season. Okay, right. By the way, does anyone know how to clear these times? Because I would like a fresh leaderboard, you know. So this is the 1964 sub, which was made by Kireva. I did try that, but it doesn't. But it didn't actually clear the leaderboard times. And this car has a inline-4 engine with 214 horsepower. So quite a few people managed to get over 200 horsepower out of these 1.8 liter engines, and what I was gonna say about it is that the torque, of course, is gonna suffer. The torque in a low RPMs, you see right there. Now it picks up. Really, only after 6,000 RPM is where this comes alive. I think this is too stiff in terms of the sway bars. It's awesome on tarmac, or at least it felt that way in the like 5 seconds where we drove on tarmac. It felt very planted there, but here off-road, this doesn't feel at home here, which it needs to if it wants to stand any chance at winning this season, of course. Gonna grab first for this one. See, and now it dies. I mean, it turns quickly, but it is not set up for gravel. You realize that pretty quickly when you drive this thing off-road, so it is too stiff. That was just a light tap. Didn't damage anything. Brake balance is fine, I was gonna say. And it is, it's not that bad, but it did get a little bit unsettled at the end there. It has sort of slight turn-in oversteer, which is awesome off-road, but here, not so much. I don't know what happened there. It was a matter of brake balance, I think. Just the brake balance on a transition threw the car sideways, and mechanically we're still fine, it seems, though. Mechanically we're still fine. And again, I want to stress this. Accidents like this happened in rallying in the 60s. So if you can keep it together and finish, you're probably pretty well off. Okay, here is where this car is probably gonna be faster than my car, but yeah, it's not gonna be able to beat the time. But that doesn't matter. It's gonna say the first time. My car is obviously outside the competition, so let's see if this can beat first place from 1957. It can. 542. 542.6 for the 1964 sub. By the way, I am like this participant also called his last car in the 57 season Model 8 Trim 8. So he's not renowned for his creative car names, unlike this one. The 64 R2 Ladybug by Genja FT, and this one makes 110 horsepower, but it is also very, very light, so it's basically like a souped up Mini, and you know, looks a little different. Yeah, I mean, as far as creativity goes, with the antennas there as well. As far as creativity goes, this is definitely the most creative car out there in this year. But oh, I short shifted, I think. Corner cutting there because it wouldn't turn, I'm sorry. But I see what you're doing here. You're going the mini route where brake balance is all the way back, so you can bring the tail around. Whoa. Ladybug nearly took off there. How late am I? This is only the second car, so you're not that late. I feel like the brake balance could either be a little bit further back, or the brake force could be higher on this one, because sometimes it doesn't seem to want to rotate under braking, which is, you know, a little bit sad, because if you're gonna, like, it's a cool strategy. And obviously in real life it was successful as well. But if you're gonna do it, you gotta commit to it, you know. There's no sort of... There's no half-baked solution. Because if you're gonna set the... if you're gonna set the brake balance a little bit further back than usual, but not really that backwards, then what's going to happen is sometimes the car will rotate under braking and sometimes it won't, and that's the worst. And that's kind of the worst solution, because you can't rely on what the car is gonna do. You can't predict it. Even so, this car is taking these corners rather admirably. Until it understeers there, but see, even here it didn't oversteer on the brake. But then here it did. Very fast through these tight corners, as expected. That's fine. This is Mona Lisa levels of important. But how fast is it? Can it beat the last car? The last car did a 542. It looks good, I think. Come on, Ladybug, go. Oh, it's gonna be so close. 542, 543. Oh no. Not quite able to beat the 1964 sub. But still just 1 second behind. Next up, the Armor Highland. So this is by Armor Motors, who came second overall in the 1957 seasons. So I have high expectations for this one. This makes 144 horsepower. And in 57 competition rally might beat some cars here. It might, yeah, actually. Screen shaking from all the wheel spin. Whoa, no turning there at all. The understeer tells me this is front wheel drive. It does move though, so once it gets to accelerate, this thing is pretty quick. There's lots of things. Yeah. Lots of detail about this car. The roof rack as well. Did anyone just update their 57 car for this challenge? No. I did receive 13 completely new and fresh cars for this one. Very nice brake balance there. Oh no. Understeer there. Almost hit the guardrail. And this feels pretty damn quick so far. Unlike a lot of the other cars in the competition here, which went for mostly maximum power, this engine's torquey. And with the light weight of this car, you know, it can really haul itself out of a corner, even if you might not be in the right gear. It's pretty impressive. But look at that speed through that corner. Could have taken this probably 10 kilometers an hour or faster still. And this is going to be a quick time. Yeah, this is going to be a very quick time. .523. Fastest time yet. Nearly... Wait, what? Nearly 20 seconds ahead of second place so far. But we've only had 3 cars up until this point. Whew, okay. Very good. Very, very fast. But again, I had very high expectations for this one, and the car that the car from the guy who won the last competition is right here, the AZLK R2 by Random41, aka LadaFan01. This thing, by the way, makes 171 horsepower, and it uses the sort of Porsche 904 question mark Le Mans body. You know, the one. Yeah. So let's see what this thing has. Long gearing is one thing it has. It's a rear engine Corvette body. I expect that this will probably be pretty good at Utah, especially because it is very low to the ground, and yes, unlike the first car we saw, this does seem tuned more for off-roading, so it is considerably softer and more planted here on gravel. But with the fact that this is mid-engined, I think it's mid-engined. I think I remember Automation saying that this is mid and not rear-engined. But this will give it tremendous grip on tarmac, of course. So far, it's nicely controlled here on gravel as well, though. So that's not easy to do. Really throwing this thing into these corners, and it just goes around. Well, here of course this one's a slow corner, but still took it pretty well. Yeah, I think so far this and the last one are pretty neck and neck. Now this thing's pretty wide, so we gotta be careful here. Again, I'm braking early before the ice because I really don't want to brake on the ice, because that's just gonna make me spin. No understeering to the barrier there. Short shifting on purpose to avoid wheel spin. Okay, now we can go again. It feels really tight here on these roads on tarmac. Very well balanced, well controlled. Not quite as fast through here as the last car, but I think this one's going to be faster here on the straight. It is quite planted, yeah, indeed. In fact, surprisingly so for a mid-engined car. I mean, I expected it to be good on tarmac, and it is, but it's better than I had expected off-road. So this might be a real contender. 521, 523.4. What was the other car? 523.2. Ooh, really close. But this time the armor wins. Or so far, anyway. In the duel between these two is what I meant. In the duel between this and the armor this time, the armor was faster. But we have still quite a few more cars to go. Dude, I really tried to go as fast as possible, and it just ended up being about 2 times slower. I'm sorry. This is the BAC Brigand, and hang on, give me a second. I didn't even introduce this car. It makes 100 and how much horsepower? Let me reset and look it up real quick. This is the BAC Brigand by Derp, and this makes 143 horsepower. There we go. Front engined, rear drive. Looking good, yeah. Torquey engine too. And I think torque is, on these sort of rallies, torque is more important than peak horsepower. This is not as controlled, not as balanced as the last couple of cars. I don't know how to describe it. It just feels more loose. It needs to. It's not that it understeers or anything. It's just, I don't know, maybe the front end is a bit too soft. Something flew off there. I think that was one of the auxiliary lights, but that's okay. Yes I did. I did get the car from Mayumi Nuyazaka. Or maybe the front tires on this car are too wide for how much rear grip it has. I think that could definitely be the case. Whoa. Yeah, I think the front tires are too wide for the amount of grip this has on the rear. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm pretty sure this has the maximum allowed tire width on the rear, namely 205 millimeters. But if it also has 205s in the front, maybe it should instead have 195s. It feels like the rear can't keep up with the front when turning. I mean, see here it's fine, but especially on gravel this thing is quite easy to lose. Overall still a good car though. I mean, I think really what this needs is more rear grip or a slightly less front grip. I understand that obviously you can't increase the rear tire width within the rules, so it slightly narrower front tires, yeah. Let's see where this goes. 530 has passed. Nearly 200 kilometers an hour at top speed. Very impressive. 537. So did fall behind the two best cars here, but in front of the other two that we've seen so far. So it's right in the middle. Pretty good, but not the best. Oh no, that's... sorry. Nobody wants to see that. Next up, the Falcon H100R front-wheel drive. So this is a front-wheel drive truck. And this was made by Logoris. Yeah, on tarmac it was pretty good, but I struggle to understand how you could come up with the idea that, you know, a front-wheel drive truck would be an excellent rally car, but we'll see. Very rear biased brake balance apparently. Now this car doesn't have very much weight on the back anyway. So who knows, if I just keep my right foot, or my right middle finger in this case, on the trigger, and then brake as needed to rotate the back round, maybe I can make this work. Like, if this is how this is gonna work, okay, it doesn't work here. Also, if your ears are bleeding from this engine, I'm sorry. It didn't rotate there either when I was braking, so good idea in concept, but it needs to work reliably in order to be functional. Trying to bring the back round, sort of working. It's kind of working on ice, not gonna lie. But only because this has so much freaking wheel spin when you go on the throttle in high RPMs. How's it gonna do on tarmac though? Actually, it's pretty good on tarmac. Doesn't understeer very much at all. Come on now. Go. You see, I could just brake here and try to yeet it through this corner, but I don't want to break the car, and I would have to go again if I did that, so... Did still go for it pretty damn fast, though. Okay, so this is not gonna come first or second. But what sort of time can this set? .530, 532, 532.5. Okay. So right next to my my reference car. Next up, the FFB 1650 ST. I wonder what inspired this one, based on the look of the front. Looks BMW-esque, is what I meant to say there. So this is made by Ford Galaxy, and it makes 215 horsepower. It does have a French flag on the front and on the rear, though. Actually, it's not that BMW inspired now that I look at it from here. .215 horsepower means I think this is the most powerful engine in the competition by 1 horsepower. The 1964 sub that we saw at the very start had 214. Wait, why is this not turning? This is front-wheel drive, isn't it? Did you test drive all of the cars before? No, this time I didn't. Come on now. I think this car needs a serious suspension retweaking, because you can make a front-wheel drive turn well. We've seen that before, but this one just has a lot of understeer. And maybe it just makes too much power as well, because you can see there's constant wheel spin, even uphill. So yes, it's powerful, but come on, we're still spinning. we go. Suspension is still fine. Even there in third gear, like 100 mile an hour, spun its wheels. Also, the brake balance is definitely not all the way back. Otherwise, it would rotate under braking, which it doesn't. I braked there. Even the handbrake. Okay, only if you give it a strong pull. A tap of the handbrake isn't enough to turn this thing around. Only a strong and committed pull of the handbrake is gonna get this thing around, so... Strong understeer here as well. Had to slow down significantly through these corners. You can use that to your advantage too, if you're careful with it. This engine is the most powerful engine in the competition, and it also feels the most VTEC, you know, where it's like nobody home until about 6, and then at 7 all of a sudden it really starts pulling hard. F-Tech. F for French, I suppose. Okay, 5:43, which means this is still ahead of the Ladybug. So sadly, the Ladybug is still in last. Barely, but maybe the Ladybug could have just used 10 more horsepower and then it would have beaten a lot more cars, maybe. I don't know. Next up, the Halpin Scorpion B2 Rally. B4 Rally? Halpin Scorpion 2 B4 Rally. Very simple look on the front, so definitely could have been something that could have existed in the real world as a sort of standard road car. This car, by the way, makes how much? Let me see. 171 horsepower. So this yeah, this thing, when this thing gets moving, it's quick. 171 horsepower in this car. See, this car works with the brake bias. See that? Okay, I mistimed it there, so that's not on the car. Let the torque pull you uphill there. Yo, this thing is hauling here on the straight. 170. Brake early. Just in time, I think. Whoa. I expected understeer because it's on ice here, but... Whoa. Honestly, I think this car is gonna be right up there. Oh. That was probably just me being a little bit late on the brakes. Took that corner very well, and this one. Yeah, this is fast. But let's see how fast. Can it take top spot? $190. 200. 520. Yes. First place so far. Whew, very nice. Very, very nice. See, this is how a front-wheel drive car works. Whatever you did with the tire and suspension setup there, it worked. It was really, really agile, did not understeer very much at all, and it was very predictable as well. So good job to that. But we do have some more cars remaining. Next up, the HOS Lyra 1.8 RSX. And the HOS makes 152 horsepower. Diff lock is recommended, okay. This does look like a pretty good and pretty reasonable sedan as well, that's been fitted with some rally trim. I do like the singular rear reverse light, because it would have saved, you know, I don't know, 500 grams. I think it was about 8 cars that I've raced so far. Actually, should I use the diff here or should I not? What do we say? Diff or no diff? Okay, so let's try that again with the diff locked. So Genji, yours was the Ladybug, yeah. It was the second car that we raced. Unfortunately, it is currently in last place, I think. But the Ladybug was still faster than the car that won the last season, so pretty good job there, still. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love myself some good old river drive drifting, but I don't think this is very fast here. Yeah, sometimes the diff is too much here, I think. Indeed, you can just watch the VOD later. I wonder how this is gonna go on ice with the diff locked. It doesn't turn at all, apparently. That's how the diff works on ice. Come on now. Understeer. And now the car pulls to the left. Thank God we have a left corner coming up. Really needed to use the handbrake there though. I don't know, maybe the diff wasn't such a good idea. Turning it on anyway. Gotta remember I can't just leave the controller straight and look over to chat here because the car pulls to the left now. So I gotta constantly... It's tuned for NASCAR racing now, yeah. And we do actually have our first car that is slower than the winner of the 57 season. 5:56, so the Ladybug, no matter what, is no longer in last place. So that's the HOS Lyra. Still have the LLMC, still sketchy, sorry. This has... Okay. So this is from Canada, which tells me where the creator is from. 187 horsepower on this one, by the way. 187. So... short gearing, at least shorter than we've seen on a lot of the other higher revving engines. And look at it go. Whoa. How about that? How about that brake balance? Now, admittedly though, as long as you use more engine braking, this turns actually very well. It's just that the brake balance could probably use some work. And the engine feels very powerful throughout the rev range, so there seems to be a good bit of mid-range torque as well. The funny thing is, the name of this car is still Sketchy Sorry, and of course, as you can see, the brake balance does need some retweaking, but the LLMC sent this car in on like Tuesday or Wednesday, so he still had time, you know, to revise it, so it would be no longer so sketchy, you know. Like if this was like a last minute submission and sorry it's still sketchy, fair. But if you're gonna submit like 4 days before a deadline, you know, I'm gonna be really curious to see how this fares on Utah though. Because on Utah, sure, in the first little bit where there's these sort of corners like we have right here, there it's gonna be awesome, but then approaching the big hairpin, braking hard in this thing, but I think from how this car corners, I think what he did here is he may have made the rear tires narrower than the front, because obviously with this thing being a front-door drive, you don't need big rear tires, and what this will do is it's gonna make the car sort of turn harder and also oversteer on turn in, so that is a pretty effective thing you can do. And look at that, it's actually gonna take first place and then nearly gonna die. So then we have the Lucara Jambella M62 RS 1800. 205 front, 190 rear. Lost a lot of time on ice. Really? I don't think so. Okay, so this car. Let me see. Wait, which one is this? Thank you to my new follower. Sorry, I can't read that name out, or otherwise my the YouTube export is gonna get demonetized. But anyway. Hang on. Did I forget to add this to my spreadsheet? I think I did. Yeah, I forgot to add this to my spreadsheet. So I don't remember how much horsepower this makes. But despite the long gearing, look at it go! Holy Jesus! It's rear-wheel drive too, it seems. Okay, we spun it. Come on. It is rear-wheel drive indeed. Absolutely sure after that one. A little bit too aggressive on the turning. This is the one thing I want to say. I love this car so far, and it is insane in terms of acceleration. I just feel like... Okay, you know what? I can't really get out of here reasonably, so I'm gonna try again. I'm sorry. But what I'm gonna say is, again, I think this has maybe just a little bit too much front grip. It turns a little bit too hard, and with a rear-wheel drive car, you never want more front than rear grip. Otherwise, the back's gonna come around and the front is gonna keep turning, and you're just gonna spin. I really want to give this a good shot though, because I feel like this can do very well. So this means we actually have 14 cars if I forgot to add this to the spreadsheet, rather than 13. Look at this thing go. This is gonna be a bit sketchy on ice though, I can already see it coming. This feels very fast, let me tell you. Gonna brake very early in this one, like here. Was just about in time, I feel like. Whoa, no! Still going, only lost a wing. This is what I meant. It turns in a little bit too hard. It's gonna be awesome here on the dry asphalt, but... Oh, come on. No. Now I damaged it. Now I damaged it. Oh, shit. This is not the car, by the way. That's why I'm restarting. If it was a bad car, I wouldn't restart. And I would just... But the car is awesome, dude. You gotta believe me. I know this had more restarts than any other car so far, and I'm sorry for that, but I just want to get a run where I don't fail. It's just kind of, in terms of its speed, it feels like it's it feels like it's in another class, and I gotta get used to that performance here. Every other car had like 120 on this checkpoint, or 117 maybe. This 111. Timo is love. Thank you very much for subscribing. I appreciate it. Perfect brake balance as well. Like, honestly, I can't. Besides the fact that it maybe turns in a little bit too quickly. for its own good. Besides that, I can't find anything wrong with this car, really. Gotta be careful here. Don't wanna wreck it. Okay. Be a little bit more conservative through here. Still very quick through those corners. Late on the brakes there, my mistake, but we're good now. Look at the acceleration. Okay, here we can't quite corner as quickly as the front-wheel drive cars, but we can make it up. Jesus. Kilometers an hour. Yeah, this is gonna set a blazing fast time. 5:09. Jesus Christ. Wow. Okay. Yeah. We thought the LLMC was fast. This is 8 seconds quicker than that. It's only 5 seconds off of an Evo 11 concept that I made a long time ago, which is 4-wheel drive and at 350 horsepower. So, you know, that's what we're dealing with here. Wow. Honestly, I gotta check back again on Discord who made this car, because I forgot to add it to the spreadsheet and I can't remember. But this, holy moly, this is awesome. Next up, the Miranda Senator, made by user Audi RS4. Don't even bother driving my car in the next 2 stages. When can I submit my Audi S1 hill climb? Well, there's gonna be a season in the 70s after this one, and then we will have 2 seasons in Group B actually. So this was made by username Audi RS4, and it makes 211 horsepower. Last car was by Donut Snail. Oh yeah, he did very well in previous community challenges as well, I remember. But he wasn't there in the 57 season, I think. Okay, this one is Thank you for the cheer, Timo is love. Group B is gonna be in the 80s, of course. We're going through history with these with the series. But if you wanna compete next season, of course, next season is gonna be in the early 70s. In fact, I've already set the rules. I'm not gonna tell you what year yet, because I know you guys. You're gonna be like, "Oh, he said the year is X, so I'm gonna make my car right now." No, you're not, because I'm not gonna tell you. I mean, compare the pace of this to the last car. It's insane. And this is just extremely bouncy as well. This is not set up well for off-roading. It's shaky, it's bouncy. It's too low. It's got no torque. And it's very drifty, it's got no rear grip. Maybe it can make up some ground here. And yeah, because I love Group B as well, let me tell you. Like, Group B is my favorite racing series out of any class ever. So I prefer Group B to any season of Formula 1, any season of touring cars, NASCARs, drag racing, whatever you have. Group B is my favorite period of racing ever. And we're gonna talk about it more once those seasons arrive, by the way, because there's gonna be 2. Man, this car is very wobbly. I mean, once you do get it into a corner, it's actually not bad, but I think this may be a case of very soft suspension, but then also short ride height. Low ride height, I should say. Thank you for the bits, Timo is love. Oh my goodness. What is up with the handling of this car? I mean, we weren't really up to a blazing fast performance anyway, but in fact, it was a 5:07 on this checkpoint, which was 2 seconds off where the other car finished, so your car is next and last, okay? So this will be our first car that's gonna finish over 6 minutes. Sure, I did have the accident there, but trust me, it wasn't gonna... It was probably gonna come last anyway, I'm sorry. Again, I think this may be a case of suspension too soft and then ride height too low. That combination, I think, is what we're looking at right here. And then there's the Model 2 FXD fixed. And by the way, I'm going to read what you said earlier. I'm torn between making a hopefully winner and making a VFTS replica. For what year? Yeah, so this is by Mayumi Noyasaka, aka Timo is Love, here on Twitch. So this car makes 203 horsepower. Let's see what it has. It has a huge rear wing. Brake balance seems a bit off. But getting used to that. It corners reasonably well. It is obviously rear-wheel drive, as you guys can tell by the drifts. It does actually feel pretty well balanced overall. It does feel rear-engined on some occasions, which I think it is. Very stable here through that bend. Obviously there are a huge rear wing helping out with that. Helping with the brake balance as well. Or with the car balance under braking is what I should say. I think it's pretty safe to say the only car that really gained time on the ice was the front-wheel drive truck. I mean, even though I don't think anyone's gonna catch Donut Snail's car, but this car might still rank among the top positions behind that. I don't think it's quite. Maybe it's gonna catch the armor and the AZLK. I think we're a little bit late for that, but yeah, I think we're not gonna catch those two, but still a good position is still possible. Okay. Here is where the huge wing is hurting a little bit. Hurting this thing's top speed. 535.7. Still among the better cars in the field, but undoubtedly the first place goes to the Lucara Jambella M62 RS 1800. Oh no, it is indeed on the spreadsheet. I just abbreviated its name with LCM62, so that's why I couldn't find it at first glance. Anyway, so first place to that car, meaning it gets 10 points. Second place goes to the LLMC. Which is sort of surprising because he didn't do that well last time around. Third place goes to the Helpin Scorpion again, much better than in the last competition. So he gets 8 points. Fourth, Armor Highland. Fifth is gonna be the AZLK. Then we have the Model 2. There we go. This is sixth place. Respectable. Next up we have the BAC. So this is 7th place, 4 points. Then we have the 1964 sub, which is here, 3 points. Then we have the FFB coming in 9th place, 2 points. And then the Ladybug taking home the last point available by coming in 10th place. And then unfortunately we have wait, hang on. Yep. The Lyra and then we have wait. Where was the other car? The Mariana Senator. Wait, where was the Falcon? Oh, it was right there. So I'm sorry. This was a little bit. So everything down from here is actually one place down. I overlooked the Falcon. I'm sorry. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. Okay, and then the HOS is 12. That means the Ladybug actually doesn't get a point, unfortunately. Okay, right. Anyway, do you guys want to see one more car as we wrap this up? Do you guys want to see the... I can post the results in the Discord server, yeah. Do you guys want to see the replica of the original Mini Cooper S, or do you want to see my modded version? Modded. Replica, both? Both? I mean... Okay, fair enough, we can do both. So this has the 1271cc engine, 75 horsepower. So I would be surprised if this came anywhere near the top. But this is set up with a rear brake balance, so I gotta be careful with this first hairpin in particular, because we change surface here as well. I mean, it's not going too badly, honestly. But still, especially in the higher speed stuff near the end of the track, I feel like this is gonna struggle big time. Why 2 fuel caps? The real car had that, actually. I was looking at pictures and it had them on both sides. Either it had 2 fuel caps, or it was something else that looked like a fuel cap, and I'm going crazy, but... This is a 64 model year, by the way. The Cooper S 1271. This car is really fast here on ice. Yeah, I mean, in terms of cornering speeds, this thing is up there with the best cars we've seen today, but it just doesn't have the oomph, you know? Yeah, as I said, this is not gonna come close to the top, but apparently Ford bought one to see how it was. So oh, thanks very much for subscribing, Logarace. How are you doing? Are we gonna make it under 6 minutes? Yes, we are. 5:56. The crazy thing is, this is actually not the slowest time here. It's on par with the Lyra, which has how much horsepower? 152. So the Lyra has twice as much horsepower, and this is the same pace. Apparently, Ford bought one to see how it was selling so well, and figured out BMC was losing money on every one they made. Yeah, they were, but still they were selling them for so cheap. And of course, BMC was making other other cars as well at the time. But pretty quickly, the Mini was outselling everything else they made, and so obviously from there they increased the margin. This, by the way, is my modded version. It's got a stripe in the front. It's got a spoiler on the rear. It's got 2 exhaust pipes. It's got RS on the back instead of just S. And it's got the same 1.5 liter boxer 4 engine that you saw in my reference car at the start. 112 horsepower. This doesn't have the rear brake bias, because I figured that because this also has wider tires, it doesn't need it. So this has a more traditional brake bias. This engine has torque though. It is very torquey for a 1.5 anyway. So obviously this still isn't gonna keep up with Donut Snail's car, but among all the others I think this might do rather well. 2:24 on this checkpoint is actually pretty good. Here it's gonna lose a bit of time because it doesn't have a very powerful engine. I think this was the cleanest line on ice that we've seen all evening, so pretty good grip on this one. This, by the way, has 165mm tires all around, up from the 130mm that the real Mini has, and of course the replica as well. But yeah, the handling on this is very, very, very direct. I don't know how well that comes across, but you can just look at the G meter. So at this point, I think this car was about 20 something seconds quicker than the real Mini, but now we're gonna suffer yet again because we are power limited. Yeah, so I hope you guys all enjoyed the stream. Congratulations to Donut Snail for winning this first race, and based on how big the gap was to the second car, I think he's gonna be pretty hard to beat in the second and third race as well. But 5:28 here, look at that. But yeah, I think Donut Snail is definitely gonna be tough to beat in the other races as well. But you never know. Utah is a very different track from here. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I will post the results in the Discord a little bit later today. And yeah, if you guys would like to check out the next race, of course, make sure to follow me on Twitch if you haven't done so already. The next race will be next Saturday, starting at 6 p.m. Central European Standard Time, and that'll be in Utah, the mixed stage. Until then, hope you guys have a great time, and see you next time. Bye bye.